Hi, I'm DJ Ware. On this episode of the Cyber Gizmo, I'm going to show you today how to set up your own Restream server. What the heck is a Restream server? Well, if you're streaming live video, or streaming any kind of video for that matter, to an endpoint, whether that be to YouTube, or to Facebook, or to Twitch, you can only do that to one endpoint at a time with OBS. A lot of people go out when they need to have multiple endpoints and they'll purchase time or a service from a Restream service company. And the costs for that are anywhere from 19, I saw the low I think was free, but it only had one endpoint. So I was like, so I get one additional endpoint to the one I have. That's probably not going to be enough. And it also carries like some advertising with it, which I really don't want. But if you want to pay for them, they run anywhere from the low side to $19 a month for an additional stream up to, I think it's a maximum cap of 3 or 4 for $50 a month. And there's plans from all kinds, many of them that vary based on, some of them charge by the bandwidth, how much you consume in bandwidth. It's like 6 gig a month or something like that. So I wanted to build my own. And I have to thank Parecki for this, and also FixItFixIt, those two guys. Parecki, a couple of weeks ago, he has a channel on YouTube. He does a lot of video work, and he showed how you could take a Raspberry Pi and turn it into a Restream server. In his case, he was taking the stream from OBS, the live stream, and then sending it back out the HDMI port. So that's similar to one of the devices that Blackmagic is selling. And then FixItFixItFixIt was showing it a little bit different way. He was bringing in the live stream from OBS, but he was doing transcoding on it and then sending it out to 3 different endpoints: Twitch, YouTube, and I think Twitter was the other one. And he was doing transcoding along the way in order to take in a full stream that he could then record to disk. And then he was taking it and transcoding it down to make it fit the stream requirements of whatever platform he was doing the live streams to. So that's the method I'm going to try today. And I'm going to take you along with me to do this. So yeah, this could end badly, but we're going to try it anyway. Right after this. Yeah, I gotta get my title. So okay, let me put my face on here somewhere so you can see that I'm still actually here and not a robot in the cloud. So I'm sitting at my laptop that I normally work at when I'm doing presentations, and so I'm going to be using the NUC 10 today to build the Restreamer on. You could use a Raspberry Pi for what we're going to do today, because it's not going to require a lot of processing power. But when we get to the part next time on transcoding, do not use a Raspberry Pi. It does not have the processing capability or the power to be able to sustain a stream like that and be able to transcode. I have a NUC, it's an older one, NUC. I think it's a 6770 HQ processor. It runs around 2.1 gigahertz, I think. It's a 4-core with four additional threads. And so I have basically 8 CPUs, but when I was doing transcoding in the middle of the live stream, it was consuming about 53% of the processor, and that's on all cores. It was running it on all cores. Now, that machine does not have a GPU other than the one that's built in, which we all know is not a very powerful GPU. The one that comes with an Intel processor, the inbuilt Intel, is not a very good GPU for that kind of lifting. It's fine for doing things with web pages, but it is not powerful enough to be able to do much with transcoding. Now, I would suggest, if you're going to do a lot of transcoding, that you might want to consider a machine that has a GPU on it. But that always makes a good streaming server. And anyway, let's get started and get going here. So I have set up the NUC 10 over here, fresh on Pop! OS 2004. It is without the GPU because it doesn't have one. And I have updated it, so I've got all the latest updates on it, and I have installed OpenSSH Server. Since I didn't think that you guys needed to see that again. I mean, we've done that how many times? So, all right, let me go log into it. Okay. So we're over here now on this machine, and I don't think I even have HTOP loaded. Now, this is really basic. So let me get this first because we'll need this later. Okay. Just make sure it's running. So right now I'm consuming about 700 meg, thereabouts. And processor, maybe 2%, maybe 2.1%, somewhere around in there. 0.7 right now. Not taking up a lot. 107 tasks, 222 threads. Pretty lightweight as far as GNOME is concerned on a machine, but yeah, that's pretty lightweight. So let's that's out of the box. That's with nothing. I haven't started up anything yet to run. So the first thing I'm going to do here, this is going to need a Docker image to work. Now you could go out and you could download Nginx, and you could download the Rtmp module, and you could configure them, and you could spend lots of time doing that. But somebody's already built one for us, and why should I spend the effort and the time to mess with that? I mean, so let's go use Docker. So I need to get Docker installed in this machine. I don't think I've ever shown Docker installed on Pop! OS before, so this is a good opportunity to do both. I don't want to leave out any steps. I hate it when people go, oh, this is something I did 2 weeks ago, and then you try to find the video where they did it. Anyway, that doesn't work for me. So let's start with, and I hope that doesn't work for you, because that's the way we're going to do this. I need to install Docker IO. And, you know, the version of this is fine. It's not the latest, but it's fine. It'll work for my needs today. It's 19. It's close enough to the latest. Okay, so it's there, but is it up? One way to find out is to ask it for help, and yes, it is. So the other thing I need to find out is, do I have permission? And I don't. So I need to add my user to the Docker group in order for this to work. So that's a user mod. The name of the group is Docker, and my user is DJ Ware. Now I'll have to relog in order for that to pick that up, but because right now you'll see there is no Docker in my IDs, so this won't actually do anything. But that's all I need to do for right now. Let's go ahead and exit. This should be all I need to do. We'll check it. I don't think I have to restart the machine. I would hope not. Oh, looks like there we go. Yeah, good. All right, so Docker container ID. Excellent. Oh, not ID, LS. All right, so we're good there. So let's see, let's just do a Docker run on hello world. Let's make sure that I can pull from the repository, bring down, yes, and it works. That is working. So yeah, that is the hello world. All right, so we're good. Next step I need to do here is I need to go out to Docker Hub and find the Docker image that has the Nginx Rtmp already built for me. So let's go do that. Then I'm going to do an Explorer, and then I'm going to put in Nginx Rtmp. And the first one that comes up here, to Angelo, that's the one I want. Now, there's a couple of others that are pretty popular here as well. You can see that the downloads are in the plus millions. So, and this guy does do quite a bit of maintenance, so from time to time, but do not do the Docker pull. because we want to run this with a certain set of parameters so that we expose the stream protocol to the outside. Remember that in Docker, protocols are contained within the container, but they are not exposed unless you explicitly do so. So that's why we're doing it this way. All right, so this is a Docker run. I'm doing a display. This is the port map. This is exposing 1935 on the outside to 1935 on the inside. So they're mapping one-to-one. I'm giving the Docker container a name, Nginx Rtmp, and then that is the name of the repository. That is the name of the image that's in the Docker Hub repository. So we'll do that, and it should start downloading it. Okay, all good there, right? So the next thing to find out is, did the container start? Yes, it did. And it even shows it's up. So status is up. It's been up for 9 seconds. So, okay, good. So at this point, what I need to do at this point is get inside. I need to get inside the container and do a couple things. The container just has Nginx and Rtmp in it. I need to modify it, and in order to do that, I'm going to have to put in an editor. So let's go do that. So how do I get inside the image? You do that with an exec command -it interactive terminal, and then I'll need to have this container ID right there, handily placed right above the command I was going to run it on. Oops, paste. And then I'm going to have to tell it I want a bash shell. And there we go. I'm in. And you can tell that it changes because it goes to root. And this is the container ID and then the prompt. So in order to get this to work, I have to do an update, which is to refresh the cache and make sure that I have access to the network. Now, I did notice if you're going to try to put this under a virtual machine to do it, Proxmox did not work for me. Proxmox would not allow that to occur. It would block the request to go out to the network. I'm not sure. I would have to dig into it to figure out why. But just be aware that if you are trying to put this under Proxmox, you're probably going to run into problems. So at least I did, and I'm sure you will as well. Try to put it on hardware if you can. Besides, you're going to want it on hardware because it's going to consume all the processors anyway. So once this thing gets going. All right. So the next thing to do is I need to install an editor. So in my case, I want Vim. In your case, you may want Nano. You may want something else. Oh, there's no sudo. Such habits. So I don't need it anyway. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get Vim down. So far, so good. All right. The next step, we'll need to go over to Nginx. There we go. Spell it right always helps. I'm going to take a copy of the Nginx and just do an old-fashioned. This is the old-fashioned way of doing version control. Before we had version control. I don't know why I'm having so many problems spelling today. There we go. So if all goes well, it should look the same. All right. Let's see what we've got here. So you'll notice a couple things. Number one, it requires version 18 of Nginx. So if you're trying to install this outside, you're going to need version 18 or it will fail. At least in my experience, that's what I ran into. It didn't start working until I got above version 18. I actually went and compiled, and I started, I think, with 16, and it failed. So I went to 18, and it worked. So I assume that version 18 is the one that you need for this. So we have the Rtmp service here, and there's the server. There's the port it's listening on. It also supports IPv6, so you can stream IPv6 to this as well. And there's my stream. So this is the inbound stream, and the outbound stream is just a reflector. So I'm going to take and I'm going to do a yank on 4 lines there, and then I'm going to put it right underneath. I'm going to create a copy of it, and I'm going to call this, oops, okay, go away. All right. Where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? Okay. So I've got live and stream out, but nothing's happening here. They're independent at the moment. So what I need to do is I need to put a command into this one to push Rtmp protocol to the local host, and I want it to go to stream out. So my stream is going to come in on live. This is going to transcode it to nothing. It's not going to transcode it at all, but it's just going to push it back out onto stream out. And that gives me a receiving point in order to do it. Now in stream out, I could add a bunch of these. This is where you would add and then your stream key at the end. So, and then you could keep doing that for, Facebook, all the ones you want to do it. So if you wanted to restream to multiple endpoints at the same time, that's how you do it. So you have to fill it in with the URL and the stream key. But yeah. But in my case, I don't want to do that because I'm not ready to go that far yet to actually set this up and start sending it to a stream on the server. So I'm just going to do it this far. Now, I'm done, so I'm going to go ahead and write and quit. Now, don't leave this yet. You want to check your config and make sure it's okay. The reason why you want to do that is Nginx installed under Docker is not the same as having it under an operating system. So remember, your machine is the operating system for a container. What will happen is if Nginx encounters a configuration error, it'll stop. And then Docker will go, whoa, the container stopped, I need to restart it. So you'll just get into this loop where Nginx will crash, Docker will restart. Nginx will crash, up and down, up and down. We don't want that because you can't get back in easily. There are some procedures you can follow to do that, but you can't easily get back in and fix the configs. So don't leave until you make sure that you got a successful test. And you do that by running nginx -t, and it will check your config and make sure that it's syntactically correct and not likely to run into a problem once you get outside. So, all right, next thing I need to do, I need to restart my instance because I have a change to the config. Hopefully I have I still have it. And then you'll give it the container ID. Okay, now if all went well, we can do a container ls and we should find it being up. That's fine. If you see it in restarting, you're in trouble and probably have to restart over with the install of the image. So this is good. It's up. It's ready to go. Now, what is it actually doing at this point? I'm guessing not a lot. There's no stream coming in yet, so it doesn't really have a lot to do. All right, well, let's give it something to do. I just happen to have a Docker image right here. Let me go to demo, and we'll flip this over, and we'll give it a stream. Now, I need to go check and see what my settings are for my stream here. So you'll want to make sure that it's a custom stream to go to your server, since you're not Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Restream in, or any of those, or Twitter. So, and it's rtmp : / the IP address of the host, my NUC 10 in this case. Don't look at the IP that's inside the container. That doesn't count. It's the one that's on the outside. Remember, we exposed the rtmp port on the outside. So, and then I'll give it a /live, which is the URL. Don't put a stream key in because it's not handling that. And you could add a variable acceptance for the stream key, but it's not handling that at the moment. So don't bother with that. It'll just ignore it anyway. All right. So if all goes well here, I should be able to start a stream and we should go green, and we have. And I'm starting to see traffic flow. It's traveling at around 6 kilobits a second, which is where I configured the stream. I can show you that. 6 kilobits a second. So yeah, the bit rate is going to stay around there. You can jump it up if you want. It's not gonna hurt anything. So we're gonna let that run, and now I need to connect something to the endpoint, and I'm gonna go over here and use VLC for that. And so I already have the command in here. It's rtmp ://192.168.5.116. That's the host for my Docker, and then stream out, which is the name of the stream that I created as output. And we're just going to go ahead and play it. It'll take a few seconds to start up. And there we go. We are restreaming. So how are we doing performance-wise? Well, remember, this isn't doing anything other than just taking the packets and moving them from the input side to the output side. It's not modifying anything, so there isn't a lot of computation involved here. It's just I/O going in on one side of the network and going out on the other on a different RTMP port. So that's all it's doing. So it's not going to really bother the machine too much. And you could do this on a Raspberry Pi, no problem. It's got plenty of power to do nothing like this. Let's go ahead and try switching it a bit. So I had this one up. Let's do that. This is the HAL 9000 screensaver that someone recorded, and hopefully I can get back over here. And yes, it is started. It's not bad. I mean, I could definitely increase the stream quality a bit and make this a little clearer, but it's not bad. It's not horrible. So yeah, it works. So let me put it back over on demo, and then make sure it switches back, and it does. So you can tell that it is live. And it is working. Now, what about on the side that is sending the stream? So I'm using about 7.3% of 7.5 of my processor on this side. So I could definitely do some changes here to increase the quality of the stream and maybe bump things up. And next time, that's what we'll get into. We'll work into the transcoding pieces of it and how to do that, how to pick this up and make a better quality stream. So as I always say, when you're doing something new, first you crawl, then you walk, then you run. But I want to thank Alan Parecki again. Thank you so much. This is an awesome idea you had. And to Fix It, thank you so much. I'm just sharing my experiences with it. Those guys are the ones that really figured this out, and they deserve the credit, not me. But yeah, I hope you find this useful, and if you do, you can go out and check their site out too. I mean, they have a lot of good information about how they do stuff, and Alan has a section on the new Blackmagic ATM mini ATM mini, yeah, ATM mini, where they go through a number of ways of using that as well. So anyway. I hope you enjoyed this short video today. I don't know how short it is. We did a lot of things. So in conclusion, I set up just a vanilla Pop OS. It was just a workstation. It has GNOME on it. I just set that up, and I installed the updates. I put on HTOP. I put on Docker. Also put on OpenSSH server. And then it went out and got the image for Nginx RTMP and installed that into a Docker container, launched it, downloaded a new editor, made a configuration change to allow me to send stuff in and out, and then saved it, restarted the server, and done. Now, there's probably one more thing you'll probably need to do, and that is you'll need to make sure that your container automatically restarts on a reboot. And we'll talk about that next time. But as for now, just remember you'll have to start it up yourself. You need to use a Docker start with the container ID number. So hope you enjoyed this today. And please like and subscribe as always. Hope to see you all again real soon. And as always, bye for now.